We have been following what is going on with ICE in Minneapolis and across the country. Yesterday, a gentleman by the name of Alex Predis was killed by ICE agents. Now, before we get into the details, I want to play for you the statement that was given by Kristi Noem, and then we're going to show you what actually happened. Because this won't end well for the Trump administration. You have people who are conservatives that have changed their position once they saw the video footage. And it may come from people that you least likely expect. Giving you the warning now. So let's get into what they said. This was Kristi Noem and Greg Bavino saying the exact same thing. So this goes to show you they had a script. Listen to this.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic
handgun.
The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently.
Go back. Listen to what they said happened, what he did.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic
handgun.
Did not happen. Let's continue.
The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently.
Also did not happen. Lie number 2.
Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene.
That's not the way it happened.
Immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead
at the scene.
The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement. An individual.
Okay, I wanted you to hear the statement that was given by them. Okay, notice they're saying the exact same thing. This is how corporate media manufacturers consent. And remember what I told you, oftentimes whoever gets the narrative out first is the one who wins the narrative war. But this time, that is not the case. We're going to go on to the next video here. Here's another one. A lot of people are calling this out too. Kristi Noem, listen to what she says here about protesters.
And I don't know of any peaceful protester that shows up with a gun and ammunition rather than a sign. And
she doesn't know any peaceful protesters that shows up with a gun and ammunition rather than a sign. People were pointing it out. Even conservatives are calling it out on social media. Kyle Rittenhouse showed up to a protest with a gun. Don't forget about Michigan. Heavily armed protesters gather again at Michigan Capitol to decry stay-at-home order. They showed up armed. We cannot forget also some, not all, but some of the January 6th protesters showed up armed. What the hell is Kristi Noem talking about? People just blatant lies. Now let's get into what actually happened. And I got to tell you, this guy, oh boy, we saw them kill a white woman. They killed a white guy who was a veteran affairs nurse. And when people talk about America first, you can't get more American first than that. So let's start with the first one. Shout out to Stellar Man. Belligerent ICE agent goes out of his way to shove the female bystanders. Alex tried to get in the way and shield the woman while being pepper sprayed. He gets dragged away from her, jumped by 6 agents, disarmed, and then murdered. So let's see who actually escalated things, shall we? Here's the video. Right there. You see how he pushed that woman? Right here. What did she do? So once again, you see who is escalating. This woman didn't touch them. We have multiple videos to show you from different angles. She didn't touch them. They were recording, which you are legally allowed to do. Look who pushes again. The agent pushes. People are yelling, don't touch them. So do you see? There's the pepper spray. Do you see him pointing any weapon at them? No. His hand was in the air. He was raising his hand. He was basically trying to protect those women. Let's continue. This guy right here in the light gray jacket is a very important person and definitely should be questioned. We have to stop it here because obviously we are not going to show him being, actually killed on this show. But that's one angle. Let's go to another angle because it's fair to have different points of view, right? Now, there was a woman who was recording that was wearing a pink jacket. Drop Site News shared it yesterday, another angle of federal agents killing a Minnesota legal observer, which appears to come from the direction of the woman in the pink jacket filming from the sidewalk. So this was the angle that everyone was waiting to see. This is Alex right here in the brown coat. Watch this. Notice he had a cell phone in his hand. So at this point, Alex is filming what is happening. You don't see him have any weapon in his hand, none of that. Let's continue.
Go. What the fuck is wrong with you?
This is after they pushed the woman. You see, there's another push. That was the second push. So he pushed her onto the ground. So again, the way that Kristi Noem tells this story is that Alex Predis approached them armed as if he was the antagonizer here. He was not. So we see who instigated things. People are saying, well, they were filming ICE. You are allowed to film in a public space. I know this because those of us that have done interviews and on the ground reporting, which I've done before as well, these are things we had to look up. I had to look up that information to see, am I allowed to record here? Am I allowed to record there? You're allowed to do that. They were upset because they were being recorded. Let's continue. There's the pepper spray. So you have pushed two people and now you pepper spray. This should have been the end of it here. If we want to get technical, let's continue. Alex is right here. He's trying to shield this woman. He's trying to protect that woman.
The fuck, people? The fuck is wrong with you? Honestly.
None of this needed to happen. Now we pause here. We're going to get a close-up view as well. The guy right here in the gray jacket, what you saw him do was he was going through Alex's pockets, and that's when he realized again, oh, okay, this guy has a gun. He's got a gun. Let me take his gun. The guy in the gray jacket then grabs the gun from Alex's pocket and runs away with it. I'm going to show you the close-up. At this point in time, Alex no longer has a gun. He's been pepper sprayed, pushed to the ground, whatever it is they're trying to do to him on the ground, and they shot him anyway. Not only did they shoot him, they shot him multiple times while he was on the ground. Let's go to the next part here. This is why I say sometimes it's good to wait for the other videos to come out. This one here from US Did, it looks to me like the guy was protecting the lady with the book bag when he was pepper sprayed. That is when he got tackled by the agents and dragged onto the street. Here it is zoomed in and at 50% speed. Much easier to see it this way, so you're going to see different angles. His hand is in the air. You don't see him hitting the agent or anything. This is him trying to shield. There's the woman there on the ground. That's him trying to shield the lady. At this point, they're pulling Alex over to the street. Again, none of this had to happen.
The fuck, people? The fuck is wrong
Pay attention to this guy right here walking up with the gray jacket.
with you? Honestly.
They're searching him here. Here's that guy in the gray jacket. Right there. Let's go to the other one. We're going to show you different ones so that you can see better. Here's the stabilized version. One officer takes the gun from the guy's holster. Then a second later, another officer shoots him in the back. Of course, we're not going to show him being shot, but you can see here. Guy right here in the gray jacket is the one who takes the gun out of his pocket. At this point, you can tell that Alex is on his knees. That's his knee right there. Here's his back. This agent right here reaches for his gun. He already pulled it out. And this guy right here already grabbed the gun and is walking away. This is when he walks away, and that's when Alex, they shot this man in the back. Let's go to another one here. Here's the crazier part. After they shot and killed Alex, ICE agent says, "Where's the gun?" Watch this.
I need scissors. I need someone to cut this shit. I need scissors. I need someone to cut this shit.
So there is no gun because the other guy who came over grabbed it from Alex, grabbed it from his pocket, and then ran away with it. And even after this, there's videos of them clapping. There's videos of the agents clapping and applauding after they did this. This is bad. Because this is them openly admitting there's no weapon on him at this point in time. Let's go to the knees part, because I want people to see what this actually looks like. Let me go to, because I showed it to people yesterday that he was on his knees. Let me go down here. Here it is, right here. He was executed while on his knees. Again, this is after the agent in the gray coat walks away with the gun in his hand. By the way, the man killed was a veteran affairs nurse. This shit won't end well. So as you can see here, he was on his knees. This was basically an execution. They shot this man multiple times. And see, Kristi Noem and DHS, they got out in front of this before everybody saw all the video footage. And now they look really stupid. They got egg on their faces. Because it is what it is. You guys know, if you've been watching me for quite some time, you know I 100% support the Second Amendment. I may differ from some leftists on this position. I believe you have a right to protect yourself. I believe you have a right to protect yourself. I have seen law enforcement and others do things to people that did nothing wrong. So I would never sit here and tell you, no, you got to get rid of all your guns. All that has to go away. I differ from leftists on that issue. In the state of Minnesota, you have the right to openly carry, which is what Alex was doing. He never pulled out his weapon. He never pointed a weapon at these guys. He never did any of these things. It was on him, which he is legally allowed to do. And what is hilarious with me is that some of the same people who argued up and down that the January 6th protesters had the right to arm themselves, that Kyle Rittenhouse had the right to arm himself, some of those same people are saying that Alex had no right to arm himself. And Alex didn't even pull his weapon. Fox News had to come back and retract. And they did it late last night when a lot of people were asleep. That's how insane this has become. There was disagreement over the Renee Good situation, although I showed video footage, that one was turning her wheel away from that officer. But on this one, now we have people who said they support the Second Amendment. They supported the January 6th protesters. They supported Kyle Rittenhouse being able to walk around down the street with a weapon, open carry. But now all of a sudden, because it's on the other team, you disagree. That is a problem with partisan politics. Either you support open carry for all or you don't. Fox News, while everyone was sleeping, they came out and admitted the Trump administration was wrong. But most people didn't see this because they were probably asleep. Listen.
Streets of Minneapolis today. What is first and foremost in your mind?
Well, John, I got to tell you, I've watched that videotape for at least about, let's say, 100 times because I knew I was going to be coming on with you and I wanted to speak as accurate as I can. And I do believe that there needs to be a complete investigation. I was taken back by the White House, who initially put out what I defined as misrepresentation of what took place there when you look at the video. It was said that Mr. Peretti was banishing a weapon. Well, he was not banishing a weapon. Yes, he did have a weapon. It was said that by the White House that Mr. Peretti attacked those agents. No, he did not attack those agents. And one of the White House individuals called Mr. Peretti a domestic terrorist. I find this man is dead. He has a family. And to go out and call him a domestic terrorist without giving any more information is just unacceptable. And then, John, when I looked at the video, what you saw was an agent pushing a woman aside, Mr. Peretti getting sprayed, them jumping on top of Mr. Peretti. And this is something that our audience should see with their own eyes. You can see where one of the agents actually physically takes Mr. Peretti's gun. And that is before he shot. And then all of a sudden he shot, there's a pause, and there are more bullets that are shot in his direction. So that investigation, what I'm asking is that there be a complete and thorough and transparent investigation, John, not only by the federal agencies, but also by the state and local investigators also working together.
Well, it's too bad that that message came out after DHS ran with the narrative that they ran with, but these things are intentional. They come out with the message before all the video footage is released so that they get their narrative out first. They called this man all different types of things yesterday. Let's go to the next one here, because I want to show you how people in the Republican Party are calling it out, including even the NRA. We'll start with Thomas Massey. Carrying a firearm is not a death sentence. It's a constitutionally protected, God-given right. And if you don't understand this, you have no business in law enforcement or government. He is responding to Bill Aselli. This guy got ratioed yesterday. Jesus Christ. Bill Aselli. Everybody pay attention to this guy. This is the guy that in California, some of the reparation supporters were trying to work with for reparations in California. Everyone need to pay attention so you can see him for who he really is. Bill said, if you approach law enforcement with a gun, there is high likelihood there will be legally justified in shooting you. Don't do it. So he's retweeting the message that came from Homeland Security. But even Community Notes corrected him. The U.S. Constitution, particularly the 2nd, the 4th, and the 14th Amendments, prohibit officers from shooting citizens merely for possessing a weapon that is not an imminent threat. This was reaffirmed in Graham versus Connor, which says force must be reasonable. Let's go to another one. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I impeach Biden's Secretary of Homeland Security, Orlando Mayorkas. Those were my articles of impeachment that passed in the House of Representatives. I unapologetically believe in border security and deporting criminal illegal aliens, and I support law enforcement. However, I also unapologetically support the Second Amendment. Legally carrying a firearm is not the same as brandishing a firearm. I support Americans' First and Fourth Amendment rights. There is nothing wrong with legally, peacefully protesting and videoing. MAGA, consider it like this. We lost our minds when we watched Biden's FBI track down and aggressively carry out home invasions and arrest our peaceful January 6th Sixers who walked into the Capitol through open doors. Imagine if one of our MAGA independent journalists or even just a MAGA supporter stood in the street outside a J6er's house while Biden's FBI carried out a law enforcement operation, home invasion, and arrest. Then Biden's FBI goes to the MAGA guy videoing all of it and shoves a woman with him to the ground, sprays him with bear spray, then throws the MAGA guy to the ground as MAGA guy was trying to help the woman off the ground. Then Biden's FBI beats MAGA guy on the ground, disarms MAGA guy, and then shoots him dead. What would have been our reaction? Both sides need to take off their political blinders. You are all being incited into a civil war, yet none of it solves any of the real problems that we all face. And tragically, people are dying. So that's from Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that's the thing. People have to take off the political blinders to see it for what it really is. I agree with her that they're trying to incite some type of civil war. I told you a couple days ago, they want chaos. This is what they want. The state, the government, the administration, they want total chaos. And Palantir is loving all of this. There's more. Tim Pool, of all people, even he came in and said, empty hand, then gun in hand. Appears the man may have been disarmed before being shot. This is a chain of events in a greater conflict. Neither side cares at this point what justifies it or doesn't. I don't see Trump winning this one. And you know what was interesting? After he tweeted this, he got attacked very viciously by his supporters. And then he tried to flip back and get back on their side. A lot of this is a game. There's more. If you look here, the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus. Despite widespread speculation regarding intent, there has been no evidence indicating an intent to harm the officers. I think we have the video here.
The Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus has sent us a statement. We do want to share it with you. It says in part, despite widespread speculation regarding intent, there has been no evidence produced indicating an intent to harm the officers. We're calling for a full and transparent investigation by both state and federal authorities. Every peaceable Minnesotan has the right to keep and bear arms.
Talking about Alex Purdy right there. Yes. So they are saying they do not have any sense of intent.
Well, I mean, I think the more interesting thing about that is that, this group some people vilify it because post-Annunciation shooting, they came out so strongly against any kind of other, measures that would be banning weapons. Control. And this is a group that's actually saying, hey, let's not. This is the only group I've heard today that says, let's not jump to conclusions.
Let's go to part two, Eric, of Tight VNC. I want to show you what the NRA said. Because here's the thing. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it where it's okay for this side to do it, but it's not okay for that side to do it. And it brings up this question, like I said before. So because he had a gun, which he's legally allowed to have in the state of Minnesota, now all of a sudden you have the right to shoot and kill him. This is very dangerous. And some of us in the Black community have been saying this for a long time. The NRA. This sentiment from the first assistant U.S. attorney for the Central District of California is dangerous and wrong. Again, they're calling out Bill. Responsible public voices should be awaiting a full investigation, not making generalizations and demonizing law-abiding citizens. That message came from the NRA. I don't see Donald Trump winning this one. And I'll address this as well. Jerry said Sabby's a hypocrite. She dismissed the Philly Panthers the other day and now supports arming oneself. No, I have always said on this show, I 100% support the Second Amendment. What I said during that segment is that it has been reported that they are not members of the Black Panther Party. Bye. Now we get to Tim Walz. Listen to what Tim Walz said. Kala said Walz is not deploying the National Guard to kick ICE out. He's deploying them to assist local police in repressing protesters. And I have something to say about Tim Walz in just a second. Listen to this.
And we're left to clean up. I understand the anger. I understand trying to parse who were the law enforcement on the scene when you got there after a man was killed is difficult for folks who are out there. But I can't stress enough, our goal, and I'll have General Minke talk about what the role of these Guard troops are in conjunction with incredible work from the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, from mutual aid across, and of course the State Patrol, of trying to get to the point where what we're saying is we can handle this and Minnesotans can express their First Amendment rights and have our folks on the streets and get these people out of here. And so, John, if you want to talk a little bit, but the answer is yes, there's activated. He can talk to you about numbers.
So first and foremost, apparently, no, Tim, you can't handle it because otherwise this wouldn't be happening. At this point in time, I feel like Tim Walz needs to resign. This is the second person. It hasn't even been a month since Renee Good was killed. People realize we were just talking about Renee Good, and now we got this guy. Now you got Alex. So obviously, no, Tim, you can't handle it because if you could handle it, this wouldn't be happening. Let's go to the next one. I can't spend too much time on Tim. I do want to focus on Alex and who he was. This is the guy that they're calling a domestic terrorist. This is from Mac Randolph. R.I.P. Alex Preddy. He was my dad's ICU nurse. He read my dad's final salute at the VA after he passed away. Never wanted to share this video, but his speech is very on point. Also, my father's final words to me was continue to fight the good fight. He would be honored in Alex's sacrifice and ashamed of this current administration. In my dad's words, I encourage you all to continue to fight the good fight. So listen to what Alex said. So he released that video. Listen here.
Terrence Lee Randolph, March 30th, 1947, December 10th, 2024. Today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it. May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom. So in this moment, we remember and give thanks for their dedication and selfless service to our nation in the cause of our freedom. In this solemn hour, we render them our honor and our gratitude.
That was Alex Preddy. A veteran affair. Like I tell you, you know, and I've seen some things in my time, but I never would have thought when they came out with his bio and I said, this guy worked for the VA. You killed someone who worked for the VA. And that's who Kristi Noem said is a domestic terrorist. If they could do this to a VA nurse, they can do it to you. They can do it to any one of us. And had it not been for those videos, we wouldn't have known anything else, except for those of us who have seen this before. Like, this is the guy that they shot and killed and they said was a domestic terrorist. Dude literally is sitting here in the nursing scrubs with the American flag in the damn background. This guy obviously looks like he was a hiker, an outdoorsman as well. What do you know? For the people who are still surprised, we have been telling you over and over and over again. Every time you sat there and you saw unarmed black men being killed by the police, and you said, that's unfortunate, but you knew it wasn't your problem. We have told you time and time again that what they do to us, they will eventually do to you. And here we are. In less than 2 weeks, you have seen 2 white people killed by law enforcement. A white woman and now a white man who worked for the VA. They don't care. They will come for you too. Now, I'm seeing more people bring back up abolish ICE, and I have to add this caveat here. You need to also mention abolish qualified immunity, because every time we brought this up, and I gotta say, even on the liberal side, many of you who were liberals were against ending qualified immunity because, once again, you weren't impacted. Your community wasn't affected. That's how we get here. If you aren't an officer and you know that you are protected by qualified immunity, obviously you may not be as careful. But we've been calling for it. And I sat back and I say this before, some of the white liberals You have to leave your cul-de-sac. You got to stop your brunch for a week. You got to put the mimosa aside for just a second. You got to stop your weekly visit at the Starbucks with your latte and your girlfriends for just 1 second to make yourself uncomfortable. Because some of you are too comfortable. And you can look at these things and see these images on TV and you feel some kind of way. You may feel bad, but you don't feel like you got to really do anything because it's not coming to you. Well, guess what? It came to you. Some of the same people who made fun of those who were saying abolish ICE or defund the police are now saying the same thing. Because now it came to you. This won't end well. This one is not, you can't get more American than that shit. The dude worked for the VA. And I unequivocally support the Second Amendment. And I stand by that. This is something that I will not budge on at all. And I've had conversations with leftists about this as well, where they have said to me, no, we just got to get rid of all the guns. When you say get rid of all the guns, the police still have guns. So now they got guns, but you ain't got no gun. It's sad what has happened, but I got to tell you, I'm not shocked because we didn't seen this before. Many times. We've seen people shot in the back. We've seen it over and over again. So for Black people, we're not shocked. But I am embarrassed at the way that corporate media and Homeland Security just ran with the narrative that this guy was this violent person. Alex Preddy had no priors. And as you saw from many of the videos, he did not attack them. They came after him. So that was murder. But the thing is that we can't be shocked anymore. And people have to make themselves uncomfortable. All right. Let's go ahead. Terry said we are not shocked at all. No, we're not. Yeah, I mean, come get your dose said, keep with y'all left versus right logic. This will continue. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. They'll come after any one of us. This is why I'm saying, like, we got to find a way to come together. Aye. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.